Assalamu alaikum everyone. So unfortunately we have bad news for the 1.7 million people that call Celsius their home for crypto. Withdrawals, swap, and transfers between accounts have been paused on this platform. In case you don't know, I'm going to fill you in on this recent story in the crypto world wherein this platform was taking deposits from people, deposits in crypto, and lending it out at interest rates that were above the rewards that they were giving their depositors and taking for themselves a cut between the two rates. So it would lend out the crypto for an interest rate, let's say 12%, and then it would reward depositors with a 6% reward, and it would collect the difference for itself. So basically like a normal bank would operate. On the heels of the recent crypto crash, they decided to tell their depositors they can no longer withdraw their deposits, as we can see here. So let's read their full memo to the Celsius community, which I doubt are really feeling like a community at this particular time. We are writing with a very important message for our community. Due to extreme market conditions, today we are announcing that Celsius is pausing all withdrawals, swap, and transfers between accounts. We are taking this action today to put Celsius in a better position to honor over time its withdrawal obligations. Acting in the interest of our community is our top priority. In service of that commitment and to adhere to our risk management framework, we have activated a clause in our terms of use that will allow for this process to take place. So basically they're saying here that in case you're wondering whether or not we are even allowed to pause withdrawals and whether that's even legal, our terms of use say that we can. The terms of use that we know for certain 99.9% of customers have not read. Celsius has valuable assets that they will apparently not share with their depositors, and we are working diligently to meet our obligations. What does that mean? It's like if you entrusted someone with an amount of money and then you go to them and you're like, hey, can I have that money that I entrusted you with back? And they tell you, we are working diligently to meet our obligations. What does that mean? I entrusted you with money. You should have it. You shouldn't be working diligently to have it. You should have it. What did you do with the money? We are taking this necessary action for the benefit of our entire community in order to stabilize liquidity and operations while we take steps to preserve and protect assets. Furthermore, customers will continue to accrue rewards during the pause in line with our commitment to our customers. I don't think Celsius should be accruing rewards for anyone right now. They should be paying back at least the principal that they took from people before they add onto themselves even more obligations. Why are the good people at Celsius accruing rewards for people still? You can't even pay what you already owe them. Unless, of course, these rewards, you don't really take that seriously and they're just a way to placate the current demands. We understand that this news is difficult. Yeah, it is, I'm sure. But we believe that our decision to pause withdrawals, swap, and transfers between accounts is the most responsible action we can take to protect our community. No, the most responsible action you can take would be to return the money that was deposited with you to its rightful owners. That's the most responsible action. Pausing withdrawals, not even close. We are working with a singular focus to protect and preserve assets to meet our obligations to customers. If this is true, you probably started on this effort a bit too late. I feel like if your singular focus was protecting and preserving assets from the start, we probably wouldn't have had this problem. Our ultimate objective is stabilizing liquidity and restoring withdrawals, swap, and transfer between accounts as quickly as possible. I'm sure that's true. There is a lot of work ahead, not really what someone who is waiting on their money wants to hear. As we consider various options, this process will take time and there may be delays. I suspect there will be. We thank the incredible Celsius community for your support today. I doubt they support you. I think they just want their money back and they probably won't do business with you again. It is our pleasure to serve you. Great. Our operations continue and we will continue to share information with the community as it becomes available. Let's read a bit more from a non-Celsius source about what exactly happened here. So what is Celsius and why is it crashing? Amid a wider crypto market crash, crypto lending platform Celsius announced on June 12th that it was suspending all withdrawals on its lending platforms, citing extreme market conditions and a need to stabilize liquidity. Here's what I want to understand. If I deposited 1 Bitcoin with Celsius, what should it matter what the price of Bitcoin becomes? What should it matter if Bitcoin is 20,000 versus 60,000 versus 100,000 in terms of dollars? If I deposited 1 Bitcoin, it should be all the same for Celsius. They should have 1 Bitcoin that they can return to me. So why does extreme market conditions actually affect their ability to repay their depositors? In the hours after the announcement, Celsius native token plummeted by 70% in a single hour. Yeah, of course they have a native token. Why wouldn't they have a native token? By the following day, it was trading at over 40% down. Celsius' downward spiral came amid a giant sell-off that saw crypto's total market capitalization plunge to less than $1 trillion. Celsius' mission statement says that its goal is to disrupt the financial industry. That's the most poorly expressed mission statement I've read in a long time. Why is the mission to disrupt the financial industry? Is there any inherent good in disruption? I don't think so. Disruption can be very negative. What is this mission to disrupt the financial industry in any way, regardless of what that means? That doesn't seem to make much sense to me. Celsius is fairly typical among decentralized finance, DeFi lending programs. I'd have to agree with this. Anyone can hop on and lend and borrow money, but if they are interested in the latter, the loan needs to be over-collateralized. Why should they have liquidity issues if all their loans are over-collateralized? If there is a particular default, then no worries, you're over-collateralized. So what's happening here? Unless, of course, there was a bit more than just lending and borrowing that was going on this platform. This is counterintuitive to the average person, but remember, crypto is currently unregulated. Yeah, no kidding. So there are no debt collectors to keep borrowers from defaulting. Yeah, no kidding. So while DeFi offers the promise of an alternative financial system by offering yields more competitive than savings accounts, there are still capital and technological barriers to entry. The short-term cause of Celsius troubles appears to be due to Lido's staked Ether, STETH, a token that's pegged to Ethereum. STETH represents ETH locked on Ethereum 2.0 beacon chain. Okay, listen, I'm not even going to continue reading this. This is not lending and borrowing. There's a lot more stuff going on behind the scenes. And this is a really common trait that I see with these DeFi products. They're extremely complicated on the back end. No one knows what the heck is going on, really. They're unregulated. They're not decentralized at all. They're centralized just like any traditional bank, but with the difference of not being regulated. And I'm not even going to go into all this mess that has been going on behind the scenes here, because it's the same story with all of these DeFi protocols. They're unregulated, so they're governed by greed on the back end. That's what happens. Whether you have 1 step or 5 or 10, without any regulation, people are going to take on too much risk when things are going well. I don't know how many times people need to see this, but it happens every single time. And so this is a space that, number one, needs to be avoided like the plague from customers. Obviously, interest-bearing loans are haram and you need to avoid them, regulation or not. And number two, let's stop with this decentralized word in decentralized finance, because I think customers are not applying the same process of critical interrogation to these projects because they think they are actually decentralized. They're not. They're just like companies. They're driven by greed. The difference between them and traditional companies is that they're not regulated. And so these companies need to be regulated. There needs to be an expert that comes in, an auditor that pops the hood open, looks what's inside, kicks the tires, makes sure everything is as it should be before it's offered to customers, because people are going to continue to get burned without any type of oversight on these financial institutions. People are going to continue to lose money, and it's a really sad thing to see. So the lesson from this is so obvious that it's funny to say if it wasn't as sad as it is, but do not deal with unregulated financial institutions ever for any reason, regardless of whether or not there's a decentralized word in their name or not. Don't deal with them. Without regulators, they're just like any other company driven by greed, and you're going to get burned. So avoid them, please. I hope you found this video beneficial. If you did, I'd really appreciate if you left a like and subscribe. If you'd like to follow my investments, stock or crypto, consider becoming a PIF member. Until next time, make sure to take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum, and peace be upon you all.